So, with Liverpool winning the Premier League title this season and about to spend 100 million quid on one player, it got me thinking about the beginning of the season when we hadn't spent any money and the amount of noise there was about the ongoing ownership of FSG. So I thought I'd do a video about the FSG in fans and the FSG out fans. And over the years there has been many fans who just will not have FSG no matter what. Doesn't matter what they do. And they have made several mistakes. Let's be perfectly honest about that. It has not been a bed of roses, but I'm going to go through the history of FSG. Then at the end of it, I'm going to give my perspective on what I think of them, which has changed over time, by the way. So, a little bit about who FSG are. Yes, they own Liverpool, and have done for 15 years, but they also own the Boston Red Sox and the hockey team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and NASCAR's RFK Racing. I don't really know much about that, but they own that as well. They took over in 2010, but the story starts before that. Because before 2010, we were owned by the absolutely appalling Hicks and Gillette. Hicks and Gillette had run the club into the ground with all sorts of false promises. They never did a damn thing for the club, didn't do anything. They were leeches. And one of their final acts was to appoint Roy Hodgson to replace Rafa Benitez in October 2010. Roy Hodgson, taken over from European Cup winning and serial winner over his career, Rafa Benitez. Roy Hodgson lasted just a few months. His record was 13 wins in 31 games as Liverpool manager, and it was 7 wins in 20 league games. He left Liverpool in 12th place after 20 games, 4 points above the relegation zone. That's how bad he was. And that's how bad we all knew he was going to be before he was even brought in. He was sacked by FSG. Let's go back to Hicks and Gillette being ousted from the club. There was a vote by the board as to whether to keep them or let them go. And the Liverpool board voted to oust them 3-2. 3-2. If one person had made a different decision, we'd have been stuck with them. So anyway, that was the start. We got rid of them. The most disastrous period in my lifetime as a Liverpool fan, in terms of ownership, performance on the field, etc. We were dismal. Absolutely dismal. So what did the club do? They get rid of them two and they sell the club to more Americans. Now, I'm not bagging on America. I lived there for 25 years. My wife's American, my kids are American. So, but here's the thing. We brought in American businessmen. They made a complete and utter bollocks of it all. We got rid of them, and then we brought in more American businessmen. So, of course, the suspicion was there from day one. Are these going to be any good? American owners do not understand the club. They don't understand the culture. That's been proven once. Do we need to prove it again a second time? So they walked in under the cloud of suspicion. They were guilty until proven innocent. But they came in with this grand plan. We're different. We get it, etc. And they're still here today. So let's go through the issues that the FSG out crowd have had over the period of time in charge. So the first time they showed they didn't get it, which consolidated people's fears, was in 2016 when they announced a ticket price increase from 59 quid to 77 quid. Overnight, it's now going to be, the cheapest price is going to be 77 quid. A 31% increase. Where in life does anyone find an extra 31% money? You know, what's the average wage increase? 2%, something like that. 31% increase. They just did it. It went absolutely flew in the face of what the city of Liverpool is all about. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not how you do it. You don't freeze out the locals because they now can't afford to go to the match. So, true to form, the Liverpool fans did a black flag protest against Sunderland and a walkout. For the first time in our entire history, the fans did a walkout. And at the 77th minute, because of the price that they were charging, over a third of the stadium walked out. Now, this was the first time FSG were put in a position where they had really, really pissed off the fans. First big time that they'd done it. They came out with several statements. I'll read a couple of them. The widespread opposition to this element of the plan has made it clear that we were mistaken. A great many of you have objected strongly message received. And he climbed down. And he went back to the £59 maximum ticket price at that time. So while it was an error, you do have to give them some slack about the fact that they realised the error and they went back on it. How many other owners have done something like this and just said, that's just the way it's going to be? So then fast forward 3 years and you think they might have learnt the lesson from the first faux pas, but they hadn't, because they tried to trademark the word Liverpool. Oh God, talk about not getting it. Now they made all sorts of excuses. Oh no, it's only going to be merchandise and this and that and the other, and we're just trying to stop pirate stuff from happening. They tried to trademark the name of Liverpool, the city. Give us a break. Anyway, it went to the court. It was turned down for the geographical significance of the name. No, the Spirits of Shankly got it right when they said it's not that. It's that the word Liverpool belongs to the city and to the people of the city. That's who owns it, not FSG. They were never going to own it. And Liverpool fans were once again outraged. It takes years to build a reputation. It takes 5 minutes to lose it. And so 3 years after they'd done the ticket price thing, they were forced to climb down again. The Spirits of Shankly came out with a statement and said, it's a victory for common sense, which it was. Liverpool is not for Fenway Sports Group or anybody else to own. We should all be allowed to use it freely, however we see fit, without fear of legal letters dropping on our doorstep. And so they lost that one as well. It was another cock-up by them. So then, a year after that, 2020, they decide during COVID to furlough the lowest paid members of staff at Liverpool Football Club during COVID. Because they didn't need them, didn't want to pay them, so they furloughed them. Guess what? It was met with severe backlash. Again, you don't do this to the people of Liverpool. You don't. So they got a massive backlash, and guess what? They backtracked again. So 19 they did one, 20 they did one. So in 2021 they said, I know, what should we do now? Let's create a European Super League. We won't consult the fans, we'll be part of it. And this is where their history of American sports ownership really showed, because they were trying to go with an American model. No promotion, no relegation, none of that stuff. Just the big boys playing each other all the time, week in, week out. And massive amounts of money being made because you're playing all the big teams across the world all the time. Terrible idea. It further alienated the fans. Everyone was against it. You're the custodians of Liverpool Football Club. You can't take us into places we don't want to go. And guess what? They had to backtrack and they had to apologise. So Not the greatest of track records. Now, this is all the reasons why FSG was so disliked and continue to be so disliked by so many people. What I would say, in all of those situations, they really got it wrong. But in all those situations, they backtracked. In all those situations, I think in every one of them, they came out with official apologies for what they'd done. And I give credit for that. Now, the other thing they're giving a lot of stick about is investments in the players. Now, this is one where I know there are people out there who say they never invest, and this was what happened last season when we only bought Chiesa, and it was like, look at them, all they care about is making money. They don't care about the squad, they don't care about what's going on the pitch. They just care about getting more and more profits, and whatever happens on the pitch happens on the pitch. But I don't see it that way. This is where I look favourably at them, because they originally brought in Luis Suarez. He was one of the first signings. But since then, they have got a catalogue of brilliant signings. The signings of what I would say an organisation that really knows what they're doing in terms of building a backroom staff and a team on the pitch that is able to compete. Think about their signings over recent times. And I'm going to suggest here that all of those things I just talked about, they learned from them. And now that they've been there for quite a long time, they started to get the culture of the city, the culture of the people, the culture of the club. They're starting to understand it. They didn't have a clue when he walked in the door. And look at the signings they made. They brought in Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. They brought in Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot. They brought in Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, Diaz, Gakpo, Frimpong, Wirtz, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Endo, Konate. They've done all of that with a net spend over the last 5 seasons of less than 50 million quid per season. It's quite extraordinary what they've done, but they've brought in elite level sporting directors and people responsible for transfers and elite level managers and elite level players, which has now included bringing in Wirtz. Remember, we've signed Alisson and Van Dijk, and the detractors said, yeah, but they didn't spend nothing because they got all the Coutinho money, just spent that. Yeah, but they didn't have to. And wasn't it brilliant management to get that amount of money for Coutinho? And then wasn't it brilliant management to spend it on the best goalkeeper and the best centre-half in the world? That's great management. You can say, well, they netted zero. They didn't spend any of their own money. It was all transfer money. But so what? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the money comes in. It's what they've spent. And they've continued to do that now with Wirtz. They're going to spend 100 million quid. They're going to recoup 100 million quid from Darwin Núñez and Chiesa and potentially Harvey Elliott, potentially even Andrew Robertson now. I hope not. But anyway, it's been brilliant financial management over the course of the last 5-6 years that has got us to where we've got. We've won 2 titles. We've come second twice. One of them with 97 points. And we've come third twice. We've won the Champions League, we've won the Super Cup, we've won the World Club Cup, we've won the FA Cup, we won the League Cup, we won everything. We've won the lot over recent times. And we've had 2 generationally brilliant managers in Klopp and Slot. Think back to Roy Hodgson and Konchesky and some of the other players he brought in. And they've done all this as well, and this is where they get stick, but I think these deserve credit, is that when you look at the wage bills of the so-called big clubs, and big in terms of financial clout rather than anything else, but right now, our wage bill is £145 million a year. Do you know that compares to the others We're 145 million, Chelsea 170 million, Arsenal 170 million, Man United 172 million, and Manchester City 225 million. Man City are 80 million a year higher in wages than we are. And we all know that they've got all these charges against them for their dodgy financials. So they've done all of that. Net spending, this is as far back as I was able to get to. But from 2014 to 2023, this was the net spending of the clubs in the Premier League. Man United spent 1.2 billion with a B. Chelsea 886 million. Arsenal 748 million. Man City 734. That's gone way up, as we know now, with all their spending this calendar year by itself. Tottenham 522 million. West Ham 452. Aston Villa 414. And then Liverpool 395. Liverpool 395. Man United 1.2 billion between 2014 and 2023. Another thing to look at in terms of fiscal responsibility rather than cheap is the net debt of the clubs. Now, we were close to bankruptcy under Hicks and Gillett. We were really, really close, closer than a lot of people think, to going out of business under those two clowns. And FSG came in and bought us for 300 million. Their net debt right now is 196 million, which sounds a lot, but in the overall scheme of things, it's not for a big business. And I'll give you the others ahead of us. Arsenal, 233 million. Everton, 331 million. Brighton, 391 million. Man United, 663 million. And Tottenham, 670 million. So Man United and Tottenham, 670 and 663 million quid in debt. Just finished, what was it, 15th and 17th, I think, this season. Man United aren't even in Europe. Tottenham scraped in with that Europa League win. And 450 million quid more in debt than we are. But look at our squads. Look at the brilliance that FSG and their team, it is their team, are put together in terms of the squad that we've got. It's absolutely phenomenal. And look at the squads of the other two. Absolute load of crap. And they've spent they've got a debt of 450 million more than we've got. So again, I applaud it. I don't think it's penny pinching. I think it's great management. At the same time, they've developed Anfield. They've turned it into an absolute fantastic stadium with almost 61,000 capacity, and a couple of the stands have been redone. And they've also put together the state-of-the-art AXA training facility. All of this, while winning Premier League titles and European titles and all the domestic cups. In fact, everything that we can possibly win, we've won at least once. And we're current title winners. And we are favourites for next year's title. All of this with a redeveloped stadium, a redeveloped training facilities, and the best squad around, and the best manager around. So yeah, they made a load of mistakes back then. They didn't get it. But I think they've started to get it. And I understand last season why people were complaining again about the lack of spending in the transfer market. I didn't get it. I was like, why have we spent no money and who is on the slot? But they knew what they were doing. They've got a team in place is brilliantly strategic in getting things done, and they've gone from strength to strength. So the 300 million that they paid to buy us, Liverpool are now valued at 4.5 billion. And I don't care about the fact that they've made a ton of money, massive amounts of money, when I look at the fact that we are no longer in debt. We have great management, we have great structure, We have the best people in the business working for us, and we're successful, and we're Premier League title winners for the second time in 6 years. And right now, we have just signed the best attacking midfielder in the world, and everybody is looking at Liverpool with envy. So yeah, FSG made a bunch of errors. So yeah, I was sceptical, I was suspicious, but I tell you what, we could do an awful lot worse. And over the course of that time, they've had the peaks and they've had the troughs, and they were big troughs at the time. But as time has gone by, I think they've started to get it, and I think I've started to get them. And right now, I wouldn't change them. So for me, keep doing what you're doing, FSG. Keep it going. Never forget that you're the custodians and we are lifers. And we matter just as much as a checkbook matters. So keep doing what you're doing, and let's go on to an even greater era of success. You'll never walk alone. Cheers.